Hi everyone. So on Monday, Mr. Richards told us all about the story of Noah's Ark and how Noah and his family saved 2 of every animal on earth from the Great Flood. The story of Noah is important to Christians and to Jewish people, but also features in the Quran, and so is part of the Islamic faith and the Baha'i faith. And there have been lots of different interpretations and understanding of Noah's story throughout history, and Christians today hold a number of different views about it. As ever, the most important thing to remember as we discuss different interpretations of the Bible is that you make up your own mind about what you believe. And if you're unsure about something or just intrigued and want to know more, then ask questions of your teachers and grown-ups. Read books and check Wikipedia and the Bible. You can even try praying about it. So, some Christians believe that the story of Noah happened exactly as it appears in the Bible. God flooded the whole world because God was angry with humanity, and Noah saved every single species of animal on his ark and then started the world again from scratch. And it's absolutely fine to believe that. Lots of Christians believe in what we call a literal interpretation of the Bible, and we've discussed this before, which is that we take the things it says in the Bible as the truth. That's exactly what happened, and that's absolutely fine. Now, kind of at the other end of the scale, there are Christians who believe that the whole story is made up, that it's a myth or a legend passed down in stories through generations of our Jewish ancestors before finally being written down in the Torah, which is the name of the first 5 books of both the Jewish Bible and our Old Testament and Christian Bibles. Now, Christians who believe that it's made up say that the story of Noah is like all folklore. It is the message of the story which is important, and not whether or not it really happened. Now, I think most Christians fall somewhere in the middle of those two groups. And I'd say I sort of fall in the middle there. And we think that something happened, although it probably wasn't a flood which covered the entire planet, nor were all the animals saved by one person. So this position takes into account the fact that various versions of a very similar story of a flood and an ark appear in ancient Babylonian texts, which were written several thousand years before the Hebrew ones. Now, this seems to suggest that there was some great big flood at some point in a place known as the Fertile Crescent, which is the modern-day Middle East, where Judaism, Christianity and Islam, as well as the ancient Babylonian Empire, they were all born. And that the people of those traditions told stories about that great big flood and tried to understand what was happening in relation to their faith, just like we would today. The Fertile Crescent is also known as the cradle of civilization, because it was one of the first places where humans decided to stop being nomadic. That means they stopped always moving around the place, chasing the best weather and meat, and running away from big scary animals and other tribes, and they decided to settle down and start farming. Before this period, there was no farming, people just kind of roamed the landscape, but this place, the Fertile Crescent, is we think the first place, or one of the first places where humans did that. And then they started inventing things like writing and the wheel. And the Fertile Crescent is so fertile, which means good for growing, because of all the river systems running through it. And so the people who lived there chose to settle by the rivers in communities known as riverine civilizations. In just the same way that many of our oldest cities in this country, such as like London and Exeter, they were born out of very small farming communities built alongside rivers. And so too the people of the Fertile Crescent set their homes up on the banks of these many rivers. Now, geology tells us that in the years following the end of the last ice age, so that's the heating up of the planet, caused rivers to burst into huge floods, which, I mean, if you were caught up in one of those floods as a farmer 10,000 years ago, it may well have seemed as though the whole world was underwater. And archaeology has proven that many such floods did occur throughout the Middle East during the time of early settlement, and that this may well be the inspiration for the flood myths which occur across several faith traditions and civilizations. Now, the intriguing story of Noah leaves us with other questions as well. How could one boat possibly hold 2 of every animal on Earth, when modern scientists believe there to be approximately 2 million different species? So that would be 4 million animals on one ark. So you've got to get them all on there, and then once they're all on, you've got to feed them all and stop them eating each other. And then there are questions about the flood itself. Why would God, who Jesus tells us is pure love, Why would God, who is pure love, choose to wash everyone away in a giant flood? It doesn't sound very loving. All in all, it's really pretty complicated. And like much of the Bible, especially the more ancient elements of the Old Testament, like the flood story, we'll never know the truth for sure. And this is where trust and faith come in. Faith means to trust in God, to put our trust not in what we know or think we know, but simply in the truth that God is and that God loves us, just like Noah does in the story. Trusting God means accepting that we can never know the whole picture because we're not God. But faith doesn't mean we have all the answers or that we have everything worked out. It doesn't mean that we know the Bible back to front. It certainly doesn't mean that we accept things which don't seem to make sense to us or that we stop asking questions. In fact, some people would say once you've stopped asking questions, then your faith stops growing. It just means that in the midst of all of this not knowing, we keep trying to follow that small, quiet voice of God, that call of Jesus. So whether the story of Noah is a myth, or 100% fact, or somewhere in between, it isn't really the point. The point is that it's part of our faith, and has been for thousands and thousands of years. It links us to our ancestors, and tells us something about their relationship with the earth and with God. And so we can learn something about our relationship with the earth and with God. Noah's example teaches us about faith and trust, and also about God's promise to care for us. The story is also one we can share with our sisters and brothers in the Jewish, Islamic and Baha'i faiths, which is another reason why it's super important. It reminds us that we all worship the same God in our own ways, and that we're all striving together to grow in trust and faith, just like Noah did. I'm going to read you a few lines from an incredible theologian. So a theologian, remember, is like a professional RE person. They spend their life just writing theology, and theology means thinking and speaking about God. So this theologian is called Rachel Held Evans, and she was an American theologian. And she wrote this about understanding trust and faith. She said, contrary to what many of us are told, Israel's origin stories weren't designed to answer scientific 21st century questions about the beginning of the universe or the biological evolution of human beings, but rather they were meant to answer then pressing ancient questions about the nature of God and God's relationship to creation. If you're looking for Bible verses with which to support slavery, you will find them. If you're looking for verses with which to abolish slavery, you will find them. If you're looking for verses with which to oppress women, you will find them. If you're looking for verses with which to liberate and honour women, you will find them. If you're looking for reasons to wage war, you will find them. If you're looking for reasons to promote peace, you will find them. If you're looking for an outdated, irrelevant ancient text, you will find it. If you are looking for truth, believe me, you will find it. This is why there are times when the most instructive question to bring to the text is not, what does it say, but what am I looking for? I suspect Jesus knew this when he said, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened. So that was Rachel Held Evans being very, very clever and profound about what it means to have faith, even if we don't have all the answers. So let's finish then with the Lord's Prayer. And then I've got a song for you after that. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. So the song we're going to play now to end with is by a band called Villagers. and I think it fits really well with the theme of trust and faith. So the singer is a Christian, and the song is all about trusting in God and having faith even when you're not entirely sure. So I hope you enjoy it, and God bless everybody.
My heart is spilling over, crashing on the ground. I can't see what's around me, but soon I'll come around. My faith is in the balance of a million tiny words, so I return to silence. And if I see a sign in the sky tonight, no one's gonna tell me it's a trick of the light. May never come, but I'm willing to wait. What can I say? I'm a man of the faith. And there's an ocean in my body, and there's a river in my soul, and I'm crying. It's time that I let go of things I can't control. This path that I've taken is the only one I'll know. Well, I've come so far to get here, and I've got so far to go, so I'll take what I can get in matters of the soul. And if I see a sign in the sky tonight, no one's gonna tell me it's a trick of the light. May never come, but I'm willing to wait. What can I say? I'm a man of the faith, and there's an ocean in my body, and there's a river in my soul, and I'm crying. And we are the dawn, and we carry the sun. We are the dawn, and we carry the sun. And if I see a sign in the sky tonight, no one's gonna tell me it's a trick of light. May never come, but I'm willing to wait. What can I say? I'm a man of the faith, and there's an ocean in my body, and there's a river in my soul.